Democracies hinge on a fundamental principle, the will of the people. It's the bedrock, the cornerstone, the whole damn foundation. Yet around the world, that foundation is looking a bit cracked. From rigged voting machines to whispers of foreign meddling, the integrity of our elections is facing more scrutiny than a politician's expense report. And frankly, it's making everyone a little nervous, so buckle up because we're diving headfirst into the murky depths of election interference and voter fraud, shining a light on tactics that make you wonder if free and fair is just a suggestion, not a requirement. All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite pastime lying on the internet. But this isn't just about your aunt sharing a fake recipe for Tide Pod casserole. This is about weaponized misinformation designed to sow discord and manipulate your vote. We're talking fabricated news articles, doctored images, those suspiciously well-funded Facebook groups with names like Concerned Citizens for Insert Bland Issue Here. It's a digital game of smoke and mirrors where the truth is the first casualty. These campaigns exploit our natural biases, preying on our existing fears and prejudices. They flood the digital sphere with so much noise that it becomes nearly impossible to discern fact from fiction. And the worst part? It works. Studies have shown that exposure to misinformation can actually sway voters' decisions, even after they've been debunked. It's like political gaslighting on a mass scale, leaving voters unsure of who or what to believe. Imagine this. It's election day, and you're pumped to exercise your civic duty. You put on your "I voted" sticker, grab your ballot, and then get tackled by a rogue poll worker who claims you're wearing last year's wristband. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but voter suppression is a very real, very unfunny joke. We're talking about insidious tactics designed to make voting more difficult, particularly for marginalized communities. Think strict voter ID laws that disproportionately disenfranchise minority voters, limited polling places that create hours-long lines in predominantly low-income areas, and the ever-popular purging of voter rolls, which always seems to conveniently misplace voters who lean a certain way politically. These tactics operate under the guise of election security, but let's be honest, they're about as subtle as a sledgehammer in a voting booth. They prey on the most vulnerable, making it harder for them to have their voices heard. And that's not just undemocratic, it's downright un-American. Now, let's talk about the technological marvel that is the electronic voting machine. On one hand, it's a testament to human ingenuity, efficiently tallying votes with the precision of a Swiss watch. On the other hand, it's a potential playground for hackers with a penchant for electoral chaos. These machines, while often touted as secure, are not immune to vulnerabilities. We've seen instances of software glitches, coding errors, and even outright manipulation that could potentially alter vote counts. And it's not just external threats we need to worry about. What about insiders with access to the machines? A rogue election official or a disgruntled employee could wreak havoc with a few keystrokes. It's enough to make you want to dust off that old-fashioned lever machine and hope for the best. Remember that satisfying feeling of dropping your ballot in the box, knowing you've done your part? Well, imagine that feeling turning to dread as you realize your vote, along with countless others, has mysteriously vanished into thin air. Welcome to the world of ballot destruction. This isn't about a few misplaced envelopes. We're talking about systematic efforts to discard or destroy ballots, often targeting specific candidates or demographics. It could be anything from lost mail-in ballots to conveniently misplaced ballot boxes, all conveniently disappearing in the dead of night. These acts are a blatant assault on the very essence of democracy, undermining the fundamental right of citizens to have their voices heard. It's like playing poker with a dealer who keeps palming cards. Not exactly a fair game, is it? International relations. It's like a giant game of Risk, except the stakes are real, and the players are a bit too eager to deploy their propaganda armies. When it comes to elections, foreign interference can take many forms, from subtle disinformation campaigns to blatant attempts to swing votes. Think of it as a political buffet of meddling. You've got your cyber attacks, hacking into voter databases and spreading misinformation. Then there's the funding of favoured candidates, often done through shell companies and shady backroom deals. And let's not forget the propaganda machine, churning out biased news articles, social media posts, and those wonderfully persuasive YouTube comments that make you question your entire existence. It's a global game of influence, with foreign actors trying to tip the scales in favour of their preferred outcome. It's enough to make you wonder if we're electing leaders or just pawns in a geopolitical chess match. Now let's talk about maps. Not the kind you use to navigate, but the ones politicians use to rig elections. It's called gerrymandering, and it's the art of manipulating electoral boundaries to give one party an unfair advantage. Imagine a map drawn by a drunken octopus who just happens to be a registered member of a particular political party. That's essentially what we're dealing with. Through creative cartography, they can pack their opponents' voters into a few concentrated districts, effectively diluting their voting power, or they can spread out their own voters across multiple districts, ensuring a majority in each one. Social media. The digital town square where everyone has a voice, or at least a profile. But what happens when that town square is overrun by bots, trolls, and fake accounts spreading misinformation like digital confetti? Social media platforms have become a breeding ground for election manipulation. We're talking armies of bots amplifying specific messages, trolls spreading discord and division, and fake accounts masquerading as real people, all designed to sway public opinion. These tactics exploit the algorithms that power social media, manipulating the information we see and influencing our perceptions of candidates and issues. It's like having 1,000 invisible whispers in your ear, constantly nudging you towards a particular viewpoint. So there you have it, the dark underbelly of election interference. It's enough to make you want to don a tinfoil hat and retreat to a remote cabin in the woods. But before you start stockpiling canned goods, remember this: we the people have the power to fight back. Knowledge is our greatest weapon. By understanding the tactics used to undermine our elections, we can better identify and call out these threats. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay engaged. Because the future of our democracy depends on it.